All right, so today's video, we have a Silver 3 support on PC. You're going to see some Zenyatta, and you're going to see some Kiriko. They say, hi, emongg, I love your videos. They've been incredibly helpful for me. I don't know why I said incredibly like that. Yeah, my videos are incredibly amazing. Make sure to watch them. For me, as I've started playing comp seriously again over the last few months. I'm usually a Moira main, but have been trying to diversify with other support heroes. I used to be a Gold 3 support, but deranked and have been stuck at Silver 3 for a hot minute now. This game was a bit of a doozy as my team was quite spread out and I was having a lot of difficulty healing them. As I'm new to Zen, I would love any critique or tips you have on how to prioritize who to heal and who to discord. For the second round, I ended up switching off Zen to Kiriko to heal my team, and I think that sort of worked. Though I was still struggling and my Mercy was definitely carrying our heals. I'm super open to any other tips you'd have for best utilizing Kiriko's kit. I would really love to rank up to Gold/Plat and would appreciate input you have. Thank you so much. Also, just to give some, like a side note in this one, this is a player who usually plays Moira, so they're trying to expand their play. So they normally only played Moira, and now they're going, okay, I recognize I want to change my hero pool. So that's what we're going to see. All right, here we go. Start off with some Brig here and see how it goes. All right, perfect. On to Zenyatta. That was quick. There's one thing that I absolutely love as a tank player is walking out of spawn doors as Reinhardt with a Mercy Zen. That Reinhardt's about to have zero fun. Then when's Juno out? 2 p.m. Eastern, so almost about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Paul Ramen, thanks for the gifted YouTube membership. Thank you, appreciate it. Well, have a good stream, thank you. You said get off Zen? I'll swap off Zen here soon. I got you. Give me a few minutes. Yeah, so I don't even know where to begin. I actually don't even know where to begin at this point because like I feel like I just don't even. Where do I start? Right? Like there's only I think one way to describe your gameplay at this point, and I think I have a perfect thing for that because.
Anyway, I started blasting.
All right. Let's just head back to some Zenyatta gameplay. I figured I'd just put this up now because of, this is basically what I'm watching.
Stop me if you can.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Listen, somewhere along the lines, by the way, somewhere along the lines, you had someone tell you that you need to spam as Zenyatta. What they mean by spam is not just hold your button down and like hold left click and just like go for these plays. It's like you right click a hallway, you pre-right click an area, you spam down areas they're going. You don't just like turn into a sprinkler and start blasting because that's what it felt like you were doing. It felt like you were like, you know what? I'm gonna be a sprinkler. And then you just started blasting and just try to like focus on one target. You know, keep your Discord orb on somebody in front of you. You gotta remember also, for anybody who's returning to Overwatch or new to Zenyatta, it used to be that your Zenyatta orb would stay on them. The moment you take it off of them, I think it puts like a 7-second cooldown or something to where you can't Discord orb somebody again. So if you start just like spamming Discord orbs and doing all this, you're gonna just basically lose the value of a Discord orb because you're just taking it off of people and you can't put it back on somebody, okay? So just be careful of that, all right? Because that's what you're doing. You're just like, oh, just hit my buttons. All right, here we go. Back to you. You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying, by the way? Like to give you an idea, and I don't know if you've, like, since you only play Moira beforehand, I'll kind of give you the equivalent of what you're doing. Imagine you're playing Moira, but you take your healing orbs and you just throw them into the sky, and then you just don't hit your Zen ult there yet. I'll let you get away with that one just because you're Zenyatta, and Zenyatta ultimate's bad anyway, so I don't even care. I'm not going to act like I'm going to tell you how to play Zenyatta ultimate better there, and let's be honest, Zenyatta ultimate is just a way to reposition yourself on the map. It certainly doesn't save anybody. Although I will say, a little side note, also much better there. Little side note on this one. I think that the passives made Zenyatta ultimate 10 times better. Let me explain why. So remember when they, not the DPS passive, I'm talking about, you know how we just had the quick play hacked? Zenyatta's ultimate, if you put it on the heal your team. What was it? Heal your teammates for more, or like something when they're below 50% HP or something like that. Zenyatta ultimate benefits from that, right? I forgot what passive it was. But Zenyatta ultimate now becomes infinitely better because of that. Because when your teammates get low, your Zenyatta ultimate heals for way more now. So technically, they actually fixed Zenyatta ultimate with those quick play passives that they had in there, because Zenyatta benefited from that. So now, like, they fixed the problem with Zenyatta ultimate. Right now, Zenyatta ultimate's problem is there's so much damage in the game, and like so many ways to prevent the ultimate from doing anything. You can just one-shot people through it, or like get them really low when you can't catch up on heals because of the DPS passive. That counteracts that to make it an actual ultimate. Because, and I don't know if people agree with me or disagree with me on this point, but it feels like for some heroes, ultimates aren't ultimates anymore. They just feel like an ability you build a percentage up on, and then it just sucks. Which I think is kind of a problem if like your ultimates start to feel less like ultimates and more just like an ability that you just build up over a timer with a long cooldown. Some ultimates are great. Some ultimates are terrible. Pulse Bomb. And the reason why I say Pulse Bomb now is because look at a Yari's ultimate and tell me that isn't a better Pulse Bomb. Like Tracer, you have to hit a perfect Pulse Bomb to get in the limb. A Yari, you have to hit the floor within 175 meters of somebody, and then it lasts for 30 minutes, then you get a kill. And then it chains the people. So, I still think that, like, there's ultimates that feel, and don't get me wrong, the argument to Pulse Bomb will be you can build Pulse Bomb quickly. I can give you that, but I also feel like you can build Suzu quicker. You can have the quickest Pulse Bombs in the world sometimes, but Suzu just builds faster because it's on a cooldown rather than an ultimate. Anyway. Continue on. I mean, a Yari's ultimate makes sense from the lore, right? If you look at, like, a Yari story, which is very intense, like, the ultimate makes sense in that sense. But, like, sometimes you want ultimates to feel like ultimates, and some of them feel like throwaway abilities sometimes. Okay, let's continue on. But good job getting first, and stop blasting. Sorry, I've been going on, like, long pauses, but in a good way. As I say that, Reaper ult gets too. Well, I think Reaper ult, I still find value in Reaper ult in the right spots. I think Reaper ult is just like, you have to play a bit more hide and seek with it. And like, if they don't kill Reaper right away, Reaper can grind through some of like the cooldowns that make it frustrating. Does that make sense? Tracer, you have to almost like get the cooldowns out a ton first. Reaper ult, you can, if you survive the initial Reaper ult, you can just get the effect. Does that make sense? Nice shot there. Yeah, one thing I already want you to fix is, like, just the random left clicking. I want you to, like, really focus on your aim a little bit more. Because, like, I think you're missing shots a lot of the time, or you're reloading at inopportune times. I think a lot of that could really benefit you, in my opinion. I don't know if there's a way for me to change it from blue to red. That's one of the... I've always kind of had that feedback. I don't know if I can fix that, but, like, I wish it was, like, consistent. Like, maybe, like, whoever you're spectating is always on the blue team, etc. But it just they don't have that. You know, it's funny. I want to talk about this because there's going to be some theory here. Remember how we just talked about how Zenyatta ultimate isn't, like, the best ultimate? I would have just Zen-ulted that. I would have just Zen-ulted that. And the reason being is because you already got 2 picks. You also have a Mercy. So if you Zenyatta ultimate there, your Mercy can then go get your Pharah unless I missed a res, and now you're back on even numbers, right? That would have been a great job to use your Zenyatta ultimate. Instead, you didn't. And now you're going back to spawn, and even if your Mercy does res you're still going to be down 1 more player than you could have been if you just Zen-ulted to survive that. Because you're in an even 3v3, or it was a 4v3 at the time. So if you Zen-ult that, you keep a 4v3, your Mercy gets a res off, 5v3, you get map control, and I like the idea of that better. Okay? So, little suggestion on that one. Don't be afraid to use it there. Delayed. You were delayed on your ultimate. Why'd you wait so long on that? What was the point? The moment you even hear the voice line, just ult. There's no point to wait. Okay, anyway. It's like 3 a.m. Oh. But keep in mind, by the way, you not using your Zenyatta ultimate there led to your teammate dying, and once again, you're back to, like, not being able to push in. One thing is for sure, and I think a lot of players struggle with this sometimes, it's okay to over-ult to win a point if you guarantee you're going to win the point. And that's the situation where I think if you keep your team alive, you keep the numbers so high that you probably win that team fight, especially when you're running the Mercy Zen comp. Instead, you play it too safe, and now, like, a lot more has to happen. You have you know, less time on the clock if you get 3rd point. Your teammate's going to have to use a big slam here shortly. Like, you're going to use cooldowns you probably didn't want to use to begin with. Also, this could be a huge shatter. Probably not worth it. No, Space Ranger was their code name when they probably developed the hero. So, like, that's why sometimes you'll hear about heroes that have, like, a different, like, when they get released, they have a different code name. It's because when they're in development, they don't give the hero, they either are figuring out the lore and what they want to name the hero, or the flip side is they don't want to, like, spoil it or have it get leaked, so they just have a code name. And then eventually, you'll hear about code names, but, like, things like that. That's why they did, like, you've known Space Ranger's name for a long time, but it was never meant to be Space Ranger. It was going to be something else. Miami, thanks for the 6 months of the finish line. Thank you, appreciate it. Remember, don't be afraid to use your Zenyatta ultimate here. No, there you go, Scuba. Don't be afraid to... Actually, I think you're safe if you don't use your ultimate here. I think it's okay if you don't use it. Somehow the Zen's going to use the ult. Watch. No, you're good. Smart play. Good decision. You're sure Wrecking Ball was the code name? It just became the name? Well, and didn't everybody think it was going to be Hammond? No, Juno gameplay's at 2 p.m. It's currently 11 a.m., so about 3 more hours. Long stream today, so we'll be getting a lot of stuff done. Now, I want to pause this before anything happens, okay? If for some reason you have to use your Zenyatta ultimate here, I'm not going to be mad, okay? And the reason why I'm not going to be mad if you do use your Zenyatta ultimate here at any point is because I'd rather see you win this and guarantee it than do nothing. They're just sad they didn't do their survival game. I actually was looking forward to that because I've never played many survival games, so, like, that was going to be my introduction to a survival game, but it is what it is. I don't know, I still would like to try a survival game one day. I feel like it seems like a fun game to grind occasionally. Like, if you just, like... survival games to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Also, good job saying the point here. And sorry for the random talks here when sometimes it happens and we hear this. I feel like survival games seem like a good game to just grind if you like, don't know what you want to do, and you don't want to play an MMO. It sounds like survival games can be fun to just, like, grind. Don't be afraid to ult, by the way. I know they survived that. I'm just saying, like, if you ulted that, I wouldn't have complained. Maybe I would have, because it was a 1v5 Reaper ultimate, but... I don't know. I like keeping the momentum there and not forcing out res early. So, and also, I guess what's considered a survival game? Like, what games would you put in a survival game category? So I can have, maybe I'm not understanding what survival games are. Like, what would you like put? Like, what are games in that category? Good job. Your position's been okay, by the way. I would want to see you play further back. I think anybody can tell you this. The most annoying thing to deal with in a rank game, not the most annoying thing, but one of the annoying things to deal with is a Zenyatta who plays max distance you can never get to. I want you to think about that sometimes. Okay, like the Forest. Oh, the Forest was a fun game. I enjoyed that game. I actually really had fun with that game. Okay, so here's my question. What kind of game is a game like Tarkov considered? What is that considered? Good job there. Also, I'm okay with you using your ultimate like that. And, by the way, I'll teach people this. The reason why it's so important they finish at 1.4 seconds here is this. So let's say the other team right now finishes with 3 minutes on the clock. If that clock hits 0, what would happen is you wouldn't have an attack. They'd have 3 minutes to have their own attack, and you could only defend and draw. So when you finish with 1.4 seconds on the clock, this means that even if their team snowballs you and finishes with 7.5 minutes, your team will still have a minute to attack. So that's why it's very important that if you can finish with just this much time on the clock, even if it was 0.1, you would have an attack. That is the difference here. This is a 1.4 second difference between having an attack and not having an attack. That's how it works. If you ever wonder why you've been in the game where you don't have the opportunity to attack or the only team who can attack, it's because that's how it works. If you have a minute on the clock, if you have a minute or above, and the other team has 0, they don't have an attack. If the other team has anything else, then you can do that. So, anyway. Yep. Just want to let the people know on that one if you ever see that. I know that there's always new players coming to the game, so some people are like, oh, that's such a basic, like, you know, concept in Overwatch. Why are you explaining that? There's a lot of new players that come to Overwatch because it's a free-to-play game. So there's going to be players right now who are watching this video who just got into Overwatch 2 weeks ago and won't know that. So it's good to remind people of that type of stuff. Now you're on Kiriko, so your Zenyatta play was okay. I think a lot of, like, you just, like, randomly blasting was a big part of the problem, but I think you can fix that. And your position needs a little bit of work. Yeah. I want you to think about, like, when you TP to somebody, who you're TPing to. You got away with that play, but you could have easily fallen over. Like, I feel like those are plays that you can get away with sometimes, but, like, don't rely on that play to get away with that all the time. is basically where I'm at.
Guess not.
So you have a Hog and they have a Mauga. Now, I do hear that Mauga is played a lot. A little bit of advice to people, because I've seen a lot of people saying, why haven't they nerfed Mauga yet? I'm going to show you something. And I think this can help you against Mauga, because I know that Mauga does do well and will have moments, but I want to show you something. I'm going to wait till I see it from the point of view of the Kiriko. Alright? Good hold there. Good job staying back. Remember, good positioning will lead to good things. The beginning wasn't, the second part wasn't. Oh, I'm telling you, people have... yeah, well, that's what I want to showcase people, because, like, it's easier for me to... I just want to show people, because, like, sometimes, like, it's good to see it visually on that, if that makes sense. Okay, pause it. When you see this out of Mauga right now, okay, just to give people, like, some, like, a little bit of advice on how to deal with a Mauga, and this could be on, this isn't about, like, switching, like, a tank hero to counter, etc. This could be for everybody. During this time, 3 seconds, that's it. 3 seconds is what you have to wait. See, when you see this animation, when you see Mauga light up like this, wait 3 seconds, Mauga loses a ton, and I mean a ton of value the moment this 3 seconds is up. Now, it used to be 5 seconds, and that was really hard to deal with. They recently changed it to where, like, yes, there's 100% lifesteal, but the flip side of it is if you wait 3 seconds, Mauga loses that, right? So the point I'm making here is when you see Mauga do this, if you can, just wait the 3 seconds and then go right back into Mauga, and a lot of the Maugas will fall over because they're already out of position thinking they're going to be unkillable, all right? It's not going to be perfect, but that's just a little bit of a side note. When you see that, this animation here is telling you wait 3 seconds. That's it. 1, 2, 3. I might have been too quick on that, but that's it. Keep in mind, this teammate also benefits a little bit from it. They changed it a little bit recently. I think it's 50% now instead of 60. So they'll benefit from the lifesteal. Then you're good to go. Okay. So just to show people how that looks, right? It's also based on how much damage it does too, right? So our blocks and stuff could also, yeah, like putting up a shield. Yeah, absolutely. Like put up a shield, stuff like that. Like definitely do anything you can to prevent this 3 seconds, and then you're going to be in a much better spot. I think a lot of players will try to fight into a Mauga like this. And of course, when you fight into a Mauga with 100% lifesteal, it's going to feel frustrating, right? And it's going to feel like an unkillable hero. But like once you get past that 3 seconds, you're good to go. And it is on a pretty lengthy cooldown, so you have plenty of time after that to poke them out. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that's always going to result in a good play. But I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a... I'm trying to at least give you a little bit of like a slight tool, like, you know, to understand how to play against one. And once again, not saying it's going to be perfect. But anyway, all right, let's see anyone. Does Honor Grenade prevent lifesteal? Yep, because you can't heal, right? The lifesteal won't work if you purple them. That's why purple and a Mauga can be important too during that. Yep. I would have... That's one of those situations where you probably weren't going to win that anyway. But my advice there is just spam your Swift Step. I think, like, if you spam it or hold it... if I'm correct, if you hold it at any point, you can immediately Swift Step to somebody. So, like, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you don't really know where to go to, hold your Swift Step button and just move your mouse around, and if somebody eventually lines into there, you'll go. So just hold it down. Don't even have to have a target. Just hold it, and then if anybody lines up to where you can TP to them, you'll TP to them. All right? Like, basically, just do that, and that can help you. Okay? Yeah, it works for a lot of cooldowns, yes. But I think Swift Step is one of the more apparent ones to where, like, you would want to have that key, like, ready to go if you're going to fall off or, like, you're in a bad spot. Like, you just need to get to somebody, just hold the button, and once you get a target, you'll go there. So, yep.
Protecting.
I want you to be careful of cleansing a Bob. And I only say that is if it's already in a spot where Bob's the main focus and no one in your team can follow up, you're kind of just wasting that at that point, right? Now we'll see if it'll end up working if, like, you end up getting it back in time, but I want you to just, like, understand that, like, that's always not going to work that way. And sometimes a play can work, but I also want you to get in the habit of, like, reducing how much you're doing a play like that. Suzu and a Bob is good if your teammates are in there together. And what I mean by that is if, like, your team is able to follow up with the Bob, then keeping the Bob alive with a Suzu makes sense, right? But if Bob is the only target and no one can follow up after that, they're going to shred Bob. Straight up. That's why they gave Bob the tank thing, is because a lot of players just throw Bob in there and he falls over. So. All right, here we go. Said no notes in that Kasune. Honestly, You're talking about when they looked at the floor and just threw the Kitsune there? I mean, it wasn't perfect. The only reason why I'm okay with their Kitsune is because I felt like it was a reactionary ultimate to a play that they were going to make. I sometimes try not to get people... I feel like if I really harp on like that Kitsune specifically, players might end up playing too safe. So I look at that as like, there was a Venture ultimate. They thought it was going to be the right play. They popped it to counter. They don't know what's happening behind them at the same time. Like, there's a lot there. I'm okay with that. Like, it's not, is it an ideal play? No. If it's like an OWCS coach watching it back and trying to get their players to play perfectly, they're probably going to tell their player not to do that. But we're in the middle of a silver rank game. They're just trying to 1-to-1 the ultimates there. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It's not perfect. I'm not saying I would recommend it, but I'm not going to, like, harp on it too much either. So. Yep. Nice pick.
I feel all warm inside. Draw strength from nature.
You have the right idea on Kiriko here. I actually don't mind this. You know your teammates are going to be fine HP-wise. Like, that Mauga won't be able to do anything, so you're fine for now. Don't cleanse that, though. Bad cleanse. Cleanses need work. I want you to think about your cleanses like, since you played a lot of Moira, I'm going to give you the same thing. You throwing cleanses early like that is the equivalent of you throwing a healing orb in front of you when everybody's at 100% HP. It's not going to do anything, and you're going to waste it. You're not going to have your damage orb if you need it. Technically, you could throw it at your teammates when they're 100% HP if you're going in, but I'm saying, like, if you're just standing there doing nothing. Like, don't think of it as like a King's Row battle, like where you throw it as a preemptive. Like, if you're just throwing it into the skybox doing nothing.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Kitsune's fine there. Should be a good follow-up on that. I'm okay with that Kitsune. Remember, I'm a huge fan of proactive Kitsunes that can lead to, like, the other team having to, like, scramble around the map. Good job there getting out. Fine with the cleanse, because you didn't know if they were going to be able to follow up on you. Lost your Pharah, but that is what it is. Still watching. Your D.Va is a little bit distracted, but this is fine. You're out of position, and you're probably dead. Yeah, can't do anything about that. Do they also keep healing walls? Yep.
Under my protection.
I don't know, they have a decent understanding of what they want to do on the hero. At this point, it's just going to be about, like, not wasting cooldowns and, like,
More than usual.
kind of maximizing damage output, right? Like, that's basically where you're going to be at right now. The heals have been okay. It's really been, to me, it's really been the Suzu usage and, like, on Zenyatta just spamming too much. Like not understanding how to spam as Zenyatta. Excuse me. I think that's a better way to put it. What rank is this? Silver. Positioning's decent. Playing angles. I'm okay with this. This is fine.
I can heal you.
Bad Suzu. Why are you Suzuing that? There's no point. Your teammates are fine. I'm telling you right now, the worst, like, the habit I want to get you out of is, like, your Suzu usage. Like, I want you to use it, but I want you to use it where it makes sense. That isn't going to make sense, right? And you're going to see moments where, like, you're going to need it, and, like, that wasted Suzu, you know, obviously it isn't as, like, an issue there, but, like, yeah, it's going to be an issue if, like, they follow up right after and you don't have Suzu. If you were playing Kiriko and you were Suzuing like that, I would love that, because that means I can have follow-up limbs on people and guarantee I know I can follow up on them. Sometimes if I know they have Suzu, like, I have to play more to get Suzu out, but if you're just using Suzu for free, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, use that, please. Please do that. Okay with that. That Suzu I'm fine with, because, like, you weren't sure if your Sigma was going to survive that, so you needed to help them a little bit. I'm okay with that one, for sure. Oh, wait, that Swift Step? Chat, people are going to look at that and go, oh, what are you doing with, like, that is a good Swift Step, in my opinion. Because what you're doing is you're basically making it so you're invulnerable for a second, and they have to chase you. So you get out of there, you're fine, and that's good. A lot of people get afraid to use a Swift Step if they're only going to go 1 foot and they think it's going to be worthless. But a lot of the time, it's actually good because you become invulnerable, and then force them to have to chase you, which can also put them out of position. So don't be afraid to do that. Yep. Nice little spam damage here. Wait for it. 2 p.m. Eastern for Juno. 2 p.m. Eastern for Juno. Like I said, we'll be playtesting for sure and having some fun. 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern. All right? 2 p.m. Eastern. Nice shot by your Tor. By the way, their Venture is like one of those players who somehow was told that you need to flank his Venture and took it serious. Because then they just force flanks no matter what. You could just win this, though. There you go.
Soothing your wounds. This ends.
ends now.
All right, there you go, and you won. Good job. So the aim, listen, you're talking about the aim, it's silver. Like, you can't expect it to be perfect. You gotta look at the positives on it. Like, the aim will take time. It's totally fine. Okay, just a little side note here for you. Good job in some areas, but like a couple things I want you to work on. When you play Zenyatta, I really want you to stop doing you just started blasting play style that we were talking about. I want you to think more about where your shots are going. Spamming's good, but like spamming like your sprinkler is not the play. Your ultimate on Zenyatta, don't be afraid to use it more often. Like I said, it's not the best ultimate in the game, so sometimes you can use it to relocate, which can be like super helpful. So remember that. And also on Zenyatta positioning. Remember, the toughest Zenyatas in the game to play against, at least in my opinion, are the ones that are really far back. And the reason being is they're so hard to get to that like there's so much damage pressure that you can do from such a long range that not only can you just concentrate on hitting your shots, you have less to worry about. So work on that a little bit. On Kiriko, I felt like you were decent at understanding position. Like, you were playing that mid-range. You were going for shots. Obviously, you can work on the aim a little bit, but that's okay. I think your number one issue is your Suzu usage is just not good. I want you to start to think about Suzu is why are you using the Suzu? And that's the number one question. If you're using it on a diva at 75% HP who's lit on fire by a Mauga for 2 seconds, you're not using your Suzu correctly. If your teammate, is taking a bunch of damage and they're all in your Torb and you Suzu them, that makes sense. So I want you to think about it. I don't want you to be afraid of using it, but I want you to think about why you're using it. And when you do that, you'll get a lot better. So work in that area. I think you'll see improvement. And I think like your concern was like, oh, you mainly play Moira and now you're expanding out. I think you actually have a pretty good like blueprint to your play style that like I think you'll be okay. I think everything will work out just fine. All right? So you got this. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't, leave a comment. All of that helps with the algorithm. If you want to submit your own Spectating, look in the description below. My Discord, that's where you do that. Pretty much anything that we do video-wise, my Discord's where to go. Also, we record these live on stream. So if you look below the webcam, you can see the Twitch chat. We have a lot of fun here, so stop by if you haven't. And the YouTube stream's live too. So with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day /night.